Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition beta. Today is beta 118.10.26. We have frog noises, new mob farms that are possible, and 3 new lighting blocks. These are dropped when frogs eat magma cubes, and we also have a whole ton of bug fixes as well. Stay tuned, because this is actually a pretty big beta for being so early in the year, after Mojang just got back from their break. If you listen closely, you can hear that frogs now properly croak. They also have death sounds now. And that sound reminds me of all of the skulk blocks and the skulk sounds. It's kind of like the same type of scream, isn't it? Supposedly the tadpoles also have sounds now as well, but I haven't heard anything besides the explosion sounds that they make when they're born, and there's no real death sound either. There's also no sound when you feed them, so I'm not sure when exactly they're supposed to make any noises. As you can see, they certainly make a lot of noise when they explode, though. So let's talk about these lovely new light-emitting blocks, the pearlescent froglight, the verdant froglight, and the ochre froglight?
Ochre.
The ochre froglight. So these are some blocks that you can get from the frogs, and they drop these whenever they eat a baby magma cube. So if you want to get the pearlescent froglight, you will need to get the white frog from the desert biomes, and they will need to eat a baby magma cube, and then that will drop the pearlescent froglight. If you want the verdant froglight, the green one, then you'll need to get a green frog from the cold biomes, and they'll need to eat a baby magma cube as well. And for the ochre froglight, you'll just need yourself a regular frog eating a baby magma cube, and that'll give you this nice yellow froglight. And yes, frogs do survive in the nether just fine, so you can make yourself a very easy renewable source of these froglights. You get yourself a couple different frogs of each variety, put them next to a magma cube spawner in the nether, and then bam, you got yourself a froglight. This is something I'll be doing a tutorial on shortly, so stay tuned. And now for a little bit of myth busting and testing regarding these froglights. I have myself a little bit of a testing setup back here for some basic attributes, so let's see what these froglights are made out of. The proper tool for mining froglights is actually the pickaxe, surprisingly, and as you can see, all the other tools act pretty slowly on them, and most don't even drop it, but you can instant mine these things with just a regular stone pickaxe, and that's actually pretty cool, so you don't need any form of advanced items to really mine or collect these things. You don't need silk touch or anything special. As far as I can tell, these 3 blocks are basically just regular, solid, standard, full blocks. They conduct redstone power, they don't produce any, and they conduct power in all the regular ways that you would expect them to. They break cactuses when they're next to them, they update observers, they can have ladders and scaffolding placed on them, they're pushable and pullable, they can have things placed on the underside of them, they don't get flowed over by water, they don't catch fire, and they're not water loggable or lava loggable, and they also cannot be smelted or used as fuel. So think of these basically as like a sea lantern, because they basically share all the same properties. Gravity blocks also don't break when they land on top of these things. Yeah, they're basically solid blocks. They can't transmit redstone downwards, and they also cut redstone dust as well. They also don't allow beacon beams to go through them, as you can see. And they also block light levels as well. As you can see, it blocks out the daylight in this area. Mobs can spawn on these, but only certain mobs, because of course they emit light, so as you can see, slimes have no problem spawning on these. Now you'll notice that the texture is also randomly rotated as well. Not all of these are facing the same direction. The borders on them are slightly rotated, and this is not like a directional block like logs, it's basically like grass blocks. As you can see, every time we place it, the rotation is a little bit different, and that is just based on where in the world you are placing this. So it's not going to be a uniform texture if you build a floor out of it, it's always going to be slightly randomized, just like this. They don't appear to have too much of a blast resistance. As you can see, one TNT can take out an entire pile of them, and they do drop themselves when exploded. Wither explosions also drop the proper block, and that's all there is to know about the Froglights as of now. They're a pretty basic block. They look really cool, and they're going to be great for a lot of like kind of futuristic builds where you need some neon lights, and they also really look like candy as well. So this is a builder's delight right here. Everything regarding the frogs and Froglights will be included in the 1.19 Wild update, but everything in the rest of today's video should be coming to a future 1.18 update if I'm reading the changelogs correctly. One of the biggest bugs in Bedrock Edition has been addressed, and that is the random despawning of all types of entities whenever you leave the game or under other circumstances. So this might affect your villager trading hall. You might log into the game one day and all of your villagers have disappeared. This might affect your pets or your zoos or your animal farms, like your cow farm or whatever, and basically all the entities or a majority of them could just randomly disappear under no real reason, basically. Now, this bug has been fixed in the 0.26 beta, and hopefully we'll see it introduced into the proper 1.18 updates here soon. This bug is still currently in the game until it is actually released in full, because of course right now it's only in beta. So stay wary, stay vigilant, and watch out for your things despawning. Maybe make some more backups just in case. Can I just talk about how much it really sucks to have your entire villager trading hall disappeared? I've had this happen way back on Legacy console days, where every mob in a minecart got despawned for no good reason, wiped out my entire trading hall. It's the worst thing ever when you spend countless hours perfecting your trading hall, getting dozens and dozens of villagers, re-rolling them for the perfect trades, and then suddenly they're all gone without a trace. I mean, I've heard of worker strikes, but I mean, come on guys, come back, we love you. There's also been a bug fix regarding certain seeds. There's a handful of seeds in Minecraft that used to crash the game instantly as soon as you tried to create a world using them, and this is one of them. So as soon as you would press this button, usually the game would just instantly crash, but as you can see, the game actually loads up extremely quickly. That was a very fast world generation, wasn't it? I think this world is still slightly broken, though, because I'm not actually over here, apparently. Like, there's no block breaking sounds? I doubt that I'm actually over here. I also can't open my inventory, and I put on an elytra, but it's definitely not here. So, something do be the broke. Yep, I'm logged in at a completely different location than I logged out at. Okay, can I open the inventory? What's going on? As you can see, there's a whole bunch of empty slots right here. I tried clicking on one of these. Grab elytra, put that on, and then it's not actually on, and I can't reopen my inventory. Bedrock Edition. This is a beta, after all. I expect some things to be wonky. Yeah, so basically, if you click on these little squares down here at the bottom, it kind of like somewhat pseudo freezes the game. So I can click on that, and then I can't take off the elytra. As you can see, I'm still wearing it, and I can still fly. And if I try and move around the world at all, I haven't actually moved. So let's just go ahead and log off right here. When I log back in, we'll be right where I took off the elytra. Yep, as you can see. Very strange bug. This one definitely needs to be addressed. There's also been a huge vanilla parity update in this beta, so whenever an iron golem takes damage, it is going to get the cracks on it. As you can see, that is the first level of damage, and then if we hit it 2 more times, that is the second level of damage, another 2 times, and that is the third level, and then it's basically just a one-hit kill from there. So we can also fully repair the iron golem using iron ingots as well. It takes 4 iron ingots to get it back to full health, depending on how much it's damaged. But as you can see, we can click on it to remove that layer of cracks, that layer, and then the final layer, and then one more time just to top it off. So this, of course, is a very highly requested feature. It's something that we've been missing on Bedrock Edition for quite a while now, and this is just going to tell you when all of your Iron Golem protectors are about to die, or how close an Iron Golem in your Iron Farm is to dying. And also, you can now use all the iron in your Iron Farm to repair the Iron Golems in your Iron Farm, to keep them alive inside the lava for longer. And in case you're wondering what the back texture of the golem looks like, this is basically it. Basically, he looks super, super damaged. Fox's pouncing animation has been significantly updated, so it looks really, really good now. As you can see, they first shake their tail, and then they jump, and they actually arc downwards as well when they're jumping. It looks really, really good. When you're trading with a villager, there will no longer be an emerald icon above their head, which showed up previously. It was actually kind of a nice feature, because it would show you if another player was trading with that villager. You'd see that emerald icon, and then you'd kind of know that someone else is busy with that dude. There's also a very vague change in the change logs, updated trade tables for butchers, cartographers, librarians, and the wandering trader. So I've looked through these guys a little bit. I don't see too much that's different, but I did notice that now they require 2 book and quills for 1 emerald. So now this guy is leveled up, and as you can see, you do actually need 2 book and quills in order to get a single emerald now, which is curious. I've never seen that before, but I suppose that's the new change. It appears that the cartographer villagers now sell the globe banner pattern, which makes sense because this was just added to Bedrock Edition, actually. At the same time, it doesn't make sense that a cartographer is selling a banner pattern, because shouldn't, like, a loom guy do that? Shouldn't a shepherd sell that, since they literally work at the loom, which is where you make banners, and need the banner patterns? I don't know. Logical inconsistencies. What's new with villagers? I don't notice anything different about the butchers, so I'm not sure what they changed here. I'm also not sure what the changes to the wandering trader are, but these guys sell like 100 different things, so it's kind of hard to tell what they do. If you're an eagle-eyed viewer and you know exactly what these changes are, please let us know in the comment section down below, and you'll win yourself a cookie. I was really hoping these guys would sell bamboo, though, because telling people to go to shipwrecks has been getting a little bit old. Another change with iron golems, these guys will now only attack the player if you're in a very bad standing with the village. So basically, you need to have killed a couple of villagers and be actively attacking a new villager for the iron golem to attack you back. Now, this is something that's kind of little known about villages, but if you want to fix that, you can just trade to a bunch of villagers, and that should repair your reputation with the villagers, and then the golems should stop attacking you. And also, you can, like, get rid of golems by killing them with a lava bucket, and then that won't count towards your reputation. And killing villagers with lava also doesn't affect your reputation either. There's been a couple of changes to world generation, such as stalactites now not being able to generate only a single block tall. You've probably noticed this as you explore caves, but not paid any attention to it. Stalactites basically all over the place are only a single block tall, but now they'll generate much taller. This makes it, of course, a lot easier to get a ton of pointed dripstone, and it just looks a lot nicer as well. Lava pools like this one were generating underneath Y0, and of course you shouldn't have stone underneath Y0, so they changed it so that all of these lava pools just won't generate below 0 at all. Any of these that generate around Y0 will have some deep slate on the edges, and of course this whole bug is basically having stone below 0, which you shouldn't. So instead of making these things generate completely at deep slate below 0, they just made them not generate below 0 at all, which is, I guess, a solution. There's been a pretty big bug fix to warm oceans and corals. Previously, there wouldn't be any corals generating below about Y level 45, so anything below here would just be basically sand, and you would have a very narrow band of corals in your warm oceans. But as you can see, going down to the ocean floor, we now have all of these corals. This is going to make this stuff way more plentiful, easier to get, and it just makes the entire ocean biome look a lot more filled in as well, because previously it just looked a little bit weird having coral going from about the surface to 45, but now it goes from the surface all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, which is great. There's been an update to the grove biome. There's now a more variety of spruce trees in these biomes. Previously, every single spruce tree would look like this one right here, and this one has like tons and tons of leaves, but now we can see spruce trees like this one, and like this one up here, and the smaller variety. Basically, it's just going to be a lot easier to traverse, especially on horseback, and it just looks a lot more natural as well, because every single tree being the same, it looks a little bit weird. A really strange bug is naturally generated beehives will damage the bees the first time they come out of it. As you can see there, those 2 bees took a little bit of damage. If we go to this one over here, those bees are taking damage, and this beehive over here will also take a little bit of damage as well. And I haven't seen this happen with any beehives that I've placed down, and when they come out of the beehive for the second time, they won't take any damage. But it's a very strange one. I need someone else to make a bug report for this because I'm currently locked out of the bug tracker, but also a lot of other people are locked out as well because they turned on two-factor authentication for everyone on the bug tracker, even if you didn't have it turned on previously. So I just don't have two-factor auth turned on, so I have no way of verifying, which is really silly. The bug tracker has a bug, everyone. And I'm gonna leave you with this absolutely priceless bug right here. Well, frogs will just straight up eat goats. Yup, they'll just eat goats. They're really, really hungry for goats. Dude, this dude just ate like 4 goats. That is absolutely priceless. I hope that they keep this one. Look how beautiful that is. Maybe this is how you get goat horns. Yes, Mojang, make it a possibility. Come on. We need goat farms using frogs. They're so hungry. They ate these things faster than they ate slimes. Look at this, they're fighting each other over it. They can't get enough. So of course I had to go around and test like all the other mobs in the game. From what I can tell in my not super scientific method right here is the fact that only goats will be eaten by frogs. So you know what? I feel like someone really needs to go ahead and make a mod where these guys eat everything. Imagine dying to a frog. You walk up to these guys, you're all like, oh, you're cute and cuddly. And then you get eaten by a frog. That'd be adorable. And also imagine the Ender Dragon just getting eaten by a frog. That'd be great. Somebody do it, please. It needs to be done for science. It could actually be a really fun gameplay mechanic where you mod in the ability for these guys to eat anything, and then it drops like a custom or a special item that you can only get from that interaction. And that's basically exactly what Mojang already did with these guys eating the baby magma cubes and dropping the Froglights. So modders delight, get going, making these guys drop all kinds of god weapons because they ate like, I don't know, a turtle. And that's it for today's Bedrock Edition beta. As always, I hope that you have enjoyed. If you find any bugs in these betas, of course, let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next 1.19/1.18 beta video. If you enjoyed this one, then of course, consider leaving a like. It helps out the video and the channel a ton. If you're new here, then maybe consider subscribing. Help us reach 500,000 subscribers. And I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.